If I was starting my business over in 2024, these are 10 things that I would do differently. If you are currently a business owner and you feel like you want some tips, or you're thinking about starting your own business and you want some ideas on things that will help you to be the best possible business owner, this is the video for you. In my previous video, I talked about reasons why a handmade business is a scam. Some people got the point and some people didn't. What I was really saying in that video is essentially that if you don't know these things, a handmade business can be really hard for you. But of course, you know, like saying a handmade business is a scam sounds like a really catchy title. So big up to the people who actually understood it. But anyway, today we're going to get into these 10 tips and I feel like they're going to be super helpful for you. The first thing that I would do differently if I was starting my business over in 2024 is that I would think about the vision I have for the long term and how it would actually fit into my ideal lifestyle. So when I started my business back in 2015, I believe I was only 20 years old or 19 years old. And as a result, I didn't know the type of life I really wanted to live. I didn't know if it would be like a slow type of life or a hustle culture life. But I entered the world of being a small business owner as somebody who is more into like hustle culture, essentially. I just wanted to escape the rat race of going to college, which I did successfully. However, I set my business up in a way that required me to work lots of long hours. And because of that, it didn't quite match up with the life I'm trying to live to this day. So I am now restructuring my business to actually be in alignment with that. So what I want you to do if you're thinking about starting a small business or if you're in the beginning stages is to actually think about how your current vision for your business aligns with your ideal life, like I said earlier. So if you want to have a multi-branch corporation and you want to have lots of different branches all over the world, you want to have franchises, all of those things in, let's say, 10 years time, think about all the work that's going to take. Think about all the capital, all the investment, all the time, and then ask yourself if that's something that you really want to be involved in. Sometimes maybe you just want to keep your business small or medium. Maybe you just want to keep it as a mom and pop business. Maybe you just want to work from home. Maybe you never want to open a store. Maybe you never want to start a big worldwide kind of thing, and that's completely okay. So think about if you want to keep it small or if you want it to grow large. And if you do want it to grow large, be sure that that will align with the lifestyle you see for yourself. Especially as a woman, because I feel like as we age, we go through these phases where we start to desire different things in life. Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I am more so in a phase in my life where I'm feeling like wifely and motherly and all of those kind of things. So having like a huge company won't align with that as much as I would like for it to, because I'd be very busy handling my business. I wouldn't have any time for my children or my husband or anything of that sort. But those things mean a lot to me. And they didn't mean that much to me back in the days when I was a lot younger, because I didn't even think of that life for myself. Think about that for yourself and apply that knowledge to your own experience. I also want to say that if you want to watch the ad-free version of this video, you should check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, I also include things like monthly PDF patterns. So instead of buying the pattern, you get it on Patreon. You get it along with instructions, exclusive sewing tutorials, work in progress pictures, behind the scenes pictures, things that I don't post anywhere else. I have 3 different tiers that you can join. The link is in the description box down below, and I hope to see you there. The second thing that I would do differently is to immediately open a business bank account instead of using my personal bank account. And the reason why I would do this is because when you're going into a bank to get a small business loan, or you're applying for a grant, or you want to pay your taxes, or you're applying for a business credit card, they will most likely want to see what your current business earnings are. And if you have to show your personal account, there are some banks that will not accept your personal bank information. There are some banks that simply just need you to show proof of a business bank account. because they want to see that you're serious about this. They want to see that you're the type of person who created a compartment specifically for your business. And when you do that, it shows more of a commitment. I actually had multiple personal bank accounts that I would have my payments coming into. And the reason why I did that was because it suited my customers. So I had like an NCD account, a Scotia account, a JN account, a Sagicor account. And I didn't mind having my payments come there because if it worked better for a customer, then it works for me too. But then if I was thinking smarter, I would have just had that one account every payment goes into, regardless of how much time it takes to actually get there. That way I'd be able to also keep better track of my income and expenses. And then another thing I can add to that is that I would spend money only from that business account for business purposes. So essentially, I wouldn't be spending from personal accounts on business things. So that way, whenever it's time to file taxes and those kind of things, everything would be in one place and I wouldn't have to be pulling multiple bank statements. So think about that when you are starting your small business, or think about making that change today. At some point in your small business, you might want to apply for a loan or a business credit card, and banks are going to ask for your proof of income. And your proof of income comes in the form of your business bank accounts. That just looks a lot more legitimate. The third thing I would do differently is that I would apply for a business credit card sooner rather than later. I still haven't done that because I didn't quite believe in credit cards, but the more I went into my business, the more I saw how beneficial it could be, especially as a handmade business owner, because what will happen is that you have to first spend your money to buy raw materials and things you want to invest into the elevation of the business. And if you don't have money to be able to do that, it's going to be hard for you to move things forward, or maybe you need more cash that you don't have in that specific moment. So if you have a credit card and you want to start a new collection, or you want to do something different, something out of the ordinary, or you just want to build a line of credit for your business, having a business credit card is a wonderful thing for you, because you'll be able to have that cash up front that you may not have right away. I would have definitely done that, especially in the beginning stages of my business, along with a business bank account, because the bank would trust me enough to actually give me a credit card because I'm showing my earnings through that bank account. And then with the business credit card, I'd be able to actually purchase raw materials in advance. I wouldn't have to wait on a customer to buy a product. And that's something I'm going to talk about further on in this video. But if you're thinking about starting a small business and you're actually able to, check to see if you could get yourself a business credit card. It's a great way to build a line of credit with the bank, and it's also a great way to buy raw materials and pay for services before you actually have the cash. If you're enjoying this video, I would love if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the QUAINT channel. Down below, I'm going to have some talks attached that you can watch after this video. That would also be really informative for you if you're thinking about starting a sewing business or just starting your sewing journey overall. The fourth thing that I would do differently if I was starting my small business today is to delegate sooner. I would have gotten people to join my team. I would have trained people to sew. I would have started to get like a few apprentices and just teach them some basic things. And the notion that you have when you're starting a small business is that you don't have money to actually pay a team member or to build a team. That's always the worry. Like, you don't have the money to hire people and to pay them. But I've come to learn that a great way that you can hire a team, even when you might not be earning a lot of money, is first of all to see if you could secure some wholesale contracts, and those wholesale contracts would create a steady, predictable income for you, and then you scale intelligently. So instead of getting like 3 people on your team, you would start off with 1 person, and you probably pay them like a smaller wage, and then you work your way up to paying them a bigger wage. But once you train them how to do the thing you need them to do, they'll be there to help you, and you can get more done in a shorter space of time. And if you have these wholesale contracts coming in, you won't have to worry about how you're going to be able to pay those people. Not to mention, when you have a team member or team members, you can actually have more time to step away and do other things in your business. Because if you're constantly working in the business, you don't get the time to work on the business. I definitely fell in that trap, and I can say with confidence that if I started delegating sooner, I would have definitely made a lot more progress than I have today. And I'm still really grateful for my progress. I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to create like some negative idea about running a business here. I am just sharing the things with you that maybe in the long run you will wish that someone shared with you when you were just starting. Because I certainly wish I had somebody to tell me all of these things so I'd be able to do better and set myself up for a better future. In my video where I talk about how handmade businesses are a scam, I mentioned the fact that trying to do everything on your own can easily lead to burnout. Burnout can be mental, it can be physical, it can even be spiritual. And so I think it's really important to not try to do everything on your own. Maybe in the beginning stages you will, because you're trying to get the entire hang of the business and the flow and all of that stuff. But as soon as you're able to delegate. The fifth thing that I would do differently if I was starting my business over today is to run more campaigns on holidays and seasons. So this is something I don't really do at all in my business. For example, I don't do campaigns for Christmas. I don't do campaigns for summer. I don't do campaigns for Easter holiday. I don't do campaigns for Halloween. But if you check out a lot of the best businesses and brands, big companies and those kind of things, they actually have campaigns for seasons and holidays. And what that does is it gets people in the mood for that season or that holiday. And especially since those are usually attached to gift giving, it also brings in more sales because you're aligning it with that spirit of giving. If it's Valentine's Day and you make items that are in red and white and you create a campaign and you do a photo shoot, you'd be more likely to get sales than if you're just selling the regular things that you usually sell all the time. Now, I wouldn't really say that this has hurt me in any type of way, but I can say for sure though that if I did do more campaigns, I would be able to take better advantage of those seasons and holidays. In addition to that, I would do more photo shoots with people other than just myself. Because even if you were to check out my Instagram page right now, at QUAINT Bags, you'd notice that most of the photos are with me. And I guess you could say it's because I'm an introvert. I just take a lot of the pictures myself, and I didn't really go the extra mile to do photo shoots with other people. But when you're promoting a product and even a service, it's really important that you show different faces, different backgrounds, different types of people with your product. What that will do is give a wide variety of people an opportunity to picture themselves in your product. And that can be really powerful, because if you, for example, only have one race of people in your product, sometimes other races will actually feel alienated, or they'll feel like it's not a product that's meant for them. Or maybe you have only a certain body type wearing your product, and then another body type will start to feel like, oh, this isn't a product for me. And you might think that it's so crazy. Why would somebody think that? But honestly, people think things all the time. So you have to literally create a picture for them. You have to show them how your product would fit their lifestyle. If your audience is people who do yoga, then you don't just want to showcase women only doing yoga, because there are also men who like to do yoga. So you want to do photo shoots with all types of people who do yoga: men, women, boys, girls, big people, small people, tall people, short people. And what that will do is draw in a bigger audience, and it will lead to you getting more sales. If I did even, for example, back to school campaigns, I would be able to take more advantage of people going back to school who want bags. But I've never done a back to school campaign. So if I was starting over in 2024, that's something I would definitely make sure that I do differently. So I made clothing for myself and I advertised it and I got people to buy. But the way that I did it was that they would pay 50% upfront. I would start and complete their order, and then they would pay the other 50% once they are ready to accept the item. That is very time consuming, and it also did not give me enough time to be able to work on the things I wanted to work on. If I was to start over today, I would first take some time to create an inventory, even if it's just 12 items, and sell out of those 12 items. And as soon as or before those 12 items are done, I would make another amount of items. So maybe 24 the next time, and then maybe 36 the next time, based on how they perform. Because what that would do is make it so that I've already finished the work, and then when someone purchases that item, it's just one delivery and everything, instead of me having to make the product, then reach out back to them, then they collect it. So the checkpoints are decreased. And then on top of that, I would be able to work on what I want to work on. So if I want to work on a series of designs that are only in the color black and red, I could focus solely on that without having to stop and focus on a product that's blue or a product that's yellow. Because sometimes you just want to work within a certain sphere, essentially. So you want to focus your energy on something specific instead of distributing your energy all over the place. I would probably have months where all I'm making are fanny pack, and that would be a fanny pack month. So instead of stopping to make a backpack and then a duffel bag and then a purse, I'd just be focusing on fanny packs. And that would make batch production even easier, because when you're making lots of small things, it can take more time than if you just make lots of the same thing at once. And that's why I particularly prefer wholesale orders than making single things for single people. Another benefit of doing it this way is that you can do campaigns a lot easier. If you are just making single items for single people and sending them out immediately, you never really end up with a stock. And if you don't have a stock, it's going to be hard for you to do a photo shoot, because you're probably just going to have one item, or maybe you'll have to use an item for a customer, which you don't even want to do because that's not entirely ethical. You want to have a buildup of items, and you can call up a few people and say, hey, let's do a photo shoot. And then whenever that item gets purchased, you will actually be able to ship that out because you have multiple of them. If you run more of an exclusive type of business, then of course you can make things to order for people. But just know that that's going to be a lot more time consuming. If that works for you, keep on doing that. Another benefit of selling from an inventory instead of selling custom orders is the fact that you are actually able to accumulate revenue a lot faster. Because if you get, let's say, 5 orders for different things and you finish them at different rates, you get that money at different times. However, if you have 5 products that are already made and you sell all 5 of them at once, you get all 5 of those payments at once. Or even if it's separately, you get to keep all of that money, and it doesn't have to be a case where, oh, I need to go buy the fabric or buy the raw materials in order to make this item. Another reason why I would have sold from an inventory instead of making custom orders is because when you're ready to do a pop-up shop or a trade show or a craft fair, if you don't have an inventory, you won't be able to fill up a table. You won't be able to fill up shelves. Having an inventory will stop you from having to worry about that. If you have an inventory and you see an opportunity to do a craft fair or a trade show, you can immediately accept that invitation because you have enough products to actually put on your table. The 7th thing I would do differently is that I would narrow down my product catalog. So your product catalog is pretty much a list of all the items that you sell. Everything inside of your business that it is that you sell. Well, actually, before this point, I had a product catalog of probably 30 to 50 items. And that gave me the opportunity to sell 30 to 50 different items to a variety of people. And what I thought is that I was appealing to a larger audience and giving people as many options as possible. But what I noticed that happened was that people got decision fatigue. So if they go on my website and they see 30 different products to choose from, they can't make up their mind what to buy because they love every single thing that's on my page. They love every single thing that I sell. And as a result, some of them just don't end up buying simply because they have decision overwhelm, or they probably buy from a brand that's a lot simpler to choose from. So that's something that you can keep in mind. It's better to keep a smaller product catalog than to have a large product catalog. I feel like when you have a smaller product catalog, you make it easier for people to choose, and you also make your own work easier because that means you have a smaller number of items to make. If you have a one product business, you probably could even make more sales than somebody who has 50 products. Why? Because you only focus on that one product, and that one product gives you time to perfect your skills on that one product. So if you're only making bracelets, by the time you're done making 100 bracelets, you're a pro at making bracelets. But if you're making a bracelet, then a necklace, then an earring, and then an anklet, it's kind of the same principle, but you're scattering your energy essentially. And there is so much power in focus. Focusing on one thing or just a small set of things can be a game changer. The 8th thing that I would do differently is that I would limit my shipping options. This one actually ties in with number 7. And that is the thought or the belief that if I cater to more people, I will get more sales. And that is an illusion. If you try to reach everybody, you reach nobody. What I did when I started my business was to offer worldwide shipping. I have shipped to several different continents. That made it so that I could get my products in people's hands all over the world. However, those often pose lots of complications in terms of the fact that some people's products would take a long time to get there because of the distance and because of the scarcity of flights going from Jamaica to those countries. Also, some of the shipping costs were extremely high, again, because of the distance. Those orders sometimes ended up having to be canceled because the post office just simply didn't ship there. And then the inconvenience is on me and the customer. So if I was starting over today, I would limit my shipping options to just Canada and the US. That might seem like discrimination to some people or a limitation, but sometimes you just have to focus on what you are able to do without any challenges or complications. Because when you're running a business, you really want to keep it as simple as possible. You don't want to create a bad experience for the customer, even though sometimes it's kind of outside of your control. But the more you can do to create a streamlined experience, the better off you are and the better of a reputation that you will set for your business. So if you're starting a small business today, don't be overzealous and think you have to ship all over the world. You can simply even ship only within your country. So if you live in the United States right now and shipping in the United States is the most feasible thing for you to do, it's okay to stick to that. The 9th thing that I would do differently is that I would create more systems and SOPs. An SOP is a standard operating procedure. So this is something that you follow each time that you're going to fulfill a task in your business. For me, I used to just wing everything in my business. So if somebody ordered something, I knew in my mind what it is that I would do. However, I would sometimes miss a few steps, and every single step in the process is important. But if I had a standard operating procedure or a printout of all the steps I need to follow in order to achieve a certain product or a service, then that could be my guide every single time. SOPs are also very helpful when you are scaling your business. So if you want to be able to bring on a new team member, you want to be able to disclose a certain process with them that they would follow in order to get the result that you want. So if you know that in order to make a candle, you have to first pour the wax and then warm up this thing. I don't know how to make a candle, so I'm just making a wild guess here. But if you know that first you have to do this step, then that step, then that step, if you have a standard operating procedure, not only can you have that as a guide, but your team member can come on and have that as a guide as well. So if it's a really easy skill to teach, you can even just give them a printout or a video that shows them how to achieve that end result. And once they are competent enough, they can actually grasp and follow those steps to get the result. If you just keep all the knowledge inside of your brain, you'll never be able to share it that easily with someone else, because some people are visual learners, some people are audio learners, some people like to read, some people like to hear you talk to them. And if you have a standard operating procedure created, that will make scaling your business a lot easier. The next point is systems. You want to streamline your process, because running a small business has a lot of steps in it. And if you can simplify those steps down to literally a document that you can follow, it takes all the guesswork out of it. When I just started my business, I did a lot of freestyling. and the freestyling led to a few mistakes. And when you make mistakes in small businesses, those can cost you time, money, and energy. The 10th thing that I would do differently is that I would create a website immediately. I started my small business in 2015 and my website was created in 2018. And what that did was it gave me more work in terms of the fact that I had to be sending out invoices to my customers instead of just having them go to a specific place and make an order. Not to mention, they had to wait on me to be able to make an order in comparison to if I just had a website, they could go on that website at 3 o'clock in the morning and make a purchase, and I'll wake up to see that purchase and I'll just add that to my list of orders. So I would recommend that if you're gonna take your business seriously, definitely start a website right away, because that will take a lot of work off of your shoulders. I'm sure that you have heard before of this beautiful idea of making money in your sleep, and it's very much possible. But if you're running a small business and you don't have a website for that small business, it's going to be hard for you to make money in your sleep. Because if you don't have a way that people can make purchases or book your services without you actually being there, then it's just gonna slow things down. And then if you have 5 customers who want to order from you at the same time, you have to send 5 separate invoices. But if you have a website, all 5 of those people could go on the website, even if it's at the same time, purchase your product or place an order, and they would get their order confirmation. When I started my website, I was using Shopify, and I'm still using Shopify to this day. And I must mention that they're not sponsoring this video, even though I would love that. In my personal experience, Shopify has been the best website for me. I have heard of lots of other platforms, but for some reason, Shopify is just the simplest. Like I was saying, there are many different websites that you can utilize to create a website for your brand and your business. And I think that that's something that you should do within the first couple of months of starting your business, because it will give you a lot more opportunities to make money. Not to mention, if you are promoting your products and you can direct your customers to a website, that makes you look a lot more professional than somebody who is just saying, hey, send me a DM to make an order, or email me to make an order, or call this number, or WhatsApp me to make an order. If you just say, go to this website, I have a Shopify playlist here on my channel where I show you things like how to set up your website, how to set up shipping options, how to get a domain name, all of those things. So I will attach that in the description box down below for you to watch when you're done watching this video. But I definitely wish I started a website much sooner. Anyway, that's all the information I have for you guys today. I want to know if there's anything you would have done differently if you were starting your small business over today. Leave those in the comments down below. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to join the So Quaint family, check out these playlists and videos right here, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.